How is Georgia State University holding up amid COVID-19? And we take an up close and personal view on how online and blended learning has affected our student body and faculty. All this and more on Panther Report News. Hello everyone and welcome to PRN. My name is Alicia Wimberly and thank you for tuning in with us. As Panthers wrap up their third week of class, questions remain about COVID-19's presence at Georgia State. We turn to Kevin Sanchez-Fares, who has been working to bring us the latest. Kevin?
Campus is mostly quiet at Georgia State University as students near their fourth week of classes. While the university established its own response to the pandemic, the University System of Georgia doesn't have a standardized approach for managing and reporting cases of COVID-19 across all institutions.
It's unfortunate because I think it would have been a valuable opportunity to bring together experts from across the university system and identify what the most appropriate and effective approaches would be.
Dr. Harry Hyman, a clinical associate professor at Georgia State's School of Public Health, says the absence of standardized testing makes it complicated to compare cases across the state's public universities.
If you just look at the positives and you say, well, Georgia State's only had about 6 people and Georgia Tech's had 500, you go, wow, it must be a lot worse at Georgia Tech than it is at Georgia State. But the fact that they sampled 30,000 people over that period of time, actually, when you look at the positivity rate, it's about the same.
Georgia State provides randomized testing for those living on campus. The university also offers tests for symptomatic students on a case-by-case basis. And from August 15th to September 4th, Georgia State reports 5 confirmed cases out of the 637 tests it's carried out. Dr. Hyman says the university's choice to test residential students is strategic, given the smaller number of students living on campus. But when looking at the reported numbers, the sample size should be also understood.
If we're sampling roughly 10% of the population randomly, and we get 1 or 2 cases, does that mean that those are all the cases present in the population? No. What it actually means is if you're sampling 10%, then probably the actual number is probably about 10 times that.
The university also requires testing from student athletes and those involved in the Reserve Officers Training Corps, but it doesn't publicly report those numbers.
But it's also important to see who's being sampled. As opposed to Georgia State, where we're taking a relatively small number that we identify randomly.
Georgia State is also asking staff and students to make voluntary reports in the case that they test positive for COVID-19. But these numbers are not being released publicly, and since the reports are not even mandatory, this leaves spots for some cases to go unreported. PRN initially reported 107 confirmed cases of COVID-19 at Georgia State between March 19th and August 14th, according to an open records request. The total includes voluntary reports and tests done by the university. After publication, Georgia State student Laura Battaglia told PRN that she tested positive during that time frame, but didn't know the university was taking voluntary reports.
No, I didn't. I actually didn't. I thought someone, I thought you guys, but I thought they're going to send you email asking, if students had in during summer, but they never,
Battaglia, an international student from Brazil, says she didn't know what resources were available during the summer and wishes the university had pushed more information to students.
And then they never, actually explain what you should do when you get corona. And if you get corona, and how can you report that to the university? They were just worried if they're gonna go back in campus or online, and that was it. I mean, just come and get your mask in the campus. Never heard anything else, besides that.
As of August 24th, the total number of cases rose to 132 among students and faculty since mid-March. PRN has made requests for the latest count, but they have not yet been fulfilled. The university did inform us that the total number of cases in the athletic department has remained at 43 between August 24th and the 31st. While these reports are valuable to have, Dr. Hyman says active surveillance testing of the student body remains a point of concern.
So from where I'm sitting, that's a bit of a blind spot in terms of knowing whether there are a significant number of COVID cases developing in that population or not.
Kevin Sanchez-Fares, PRN.
It's been some entertaining things happening in the world of sports, and we now turn to Keelan Berrien for all the latest for us on why. Keelan?
Thanks, Alicia. What's up, guys? I'm Keelan Berrien, and welcome to PRN Sports. The University System of Georgia was on the edge of a big financial loss due to the lack of seasonal games. Since the new season emerged, students have concerns for everyone's safety. PRN's Jaya Brown has more.
As we are all going through this global pandemic, universities around Georgia have made the decision to let the football season continue due to their financial dependency on sports.
I can't wait to play them Saturday.
But some sports like football brings tens of millions of dollars to universities, and a canceled or shortened season could deliver a big financial hit for those institutions.
But also, I think that we should be wearing masks, so I think that should be made. We should have to wear masks, but I'm happy and I'm blessed that we got fans come to the game.
Even though football games still plan to continue, some students disapprove. Since the University System of Georgia is not making masks required at games, some students feel unsafe.
Honestly, I don't think that we should be having football games, only because some schools chose to cancel their season to protect their students and their players from the pandemic. And just to protect everybody, then I don't see why Georgia State wouldn't want to also protect their players and their students from a rise in corona cases.
The scheduled start of the season is fastly approaching, and the warnings that the season is at risk has students considering the CDC regulations.
I feel like football games should definitely be allowed to continue, but if we're gonna actually have them, require masks, like that should be a requirement, not a decision. And definitely social distance, like we need to be staying 6 feet apart.
Georgia State University's first game is September 19th at Center Park Stadium. If you are in attendance, be sure to social distance. Jaya Brown, PRN.
The Georgia State's men's soccer team released their schedule for the upcoming season, and there are 11 soccer matches on the schedule. The team will kick off the season to travel to Mercer University on September 18th to face off against the Mercer Bears. After that, they will take a trip to Columbia to take on South Carolina. Then the Panthers will return right back to their home opener against the University of Alabama at Birmingham on September 30th. The team is looking to advance to a 6th straight Sun Belt Conference tournament. Fans who will be attending the home game are encouraged to bring their own seating arrangements to safely maintain social distancing guidelines. Panthers, we are finally receiving what we have been waiting for, which is a football season. But some concerns remain on how players will be safe at the games. PRN's Brianna Malone spoke with head coach Sean Elliott to see how he plans to keep his players safe.
Ellington keeps it, puts his foot in the ground, gets ahead for the first down, slips away.
Georgia State football coach Sean Elliott is excited about the upcoming football season, despite facing many challenges every day due to the COVID-19 pandemic. With the first game quickly approaching, Coach Elliott is planning to coach the team to success.
You build your brand and you build your football team off consistency and just building that consistency day in and day out. And it doesn't matter exactly what team or position you have. I think you coach them in a certain way. But I think if you do have to look at changes, is how you coach certain individuals.
Coach Elliott says that everyone that walks into the facility is required to wear a mask, along with temperature checks that take place every Monday.
You know, it's mandatory mask, and you walk in our facility, and you're starting with our athletic training staff, Bob Murphy, and you know, you got temperature checks. We test every single Monday, every individual that walks through that door on our football team.
The first game will be played at Georgia State Stadium on September 19th at noon on ESPN2.
Here at Georgia State Stadium, Brianna Malone, PRN.
Now that we have a football season this year, concerns on ensuring safety for student athletes are also on the minds of the players. PRN's Koa Ben Israel spoke with athlete Trajan Stevens McQueen on how they plan to have a safe season.
Because of COVID-19, there were those who were very skeptical on whether or not this season would still be occurring during the fall. Once Georgia State University announced that our Panthers would still be playing football games on Saturdays during the fall season, that raised even more skepticism and more questions that needed to be answered. I had the opportunity to speak with last year's team leading tackler, Trajan Stevens, to get his opinion on the upcoming football season.
Trajan Stevens McQueen had his breakout year last year by recording the second most tackles in the season by any GSU player in its history. With Trajan emerging as one of its best players, he is looking forward to embracing his new role of a leader.
I want to bring the energy, have everybody, upbeat and really just ready to rock out. Like every game, every practice, we want to really have it like a game type situation.
Even though some think that it's too soon for the season to return, Trajan feels that the school is doing its absolute best to keep the players safe.
As far as being safe, they're actually doing everything in their power to keep us, in a safe environment, being at the stadium, and just keeping us in the precautions of always, keeping our distance, following the guidelines, and just being safe.
Head coach Sean Elliott was also able to speak on the precautions that the entire team has been following.
We carry out just the common sense details. Hey, the proper distancing when you're in meetings, your mask is on at all time, the 6 feet or less. So, we've been doing it for such a long time now, it's almost like second nature.
With players like Trajan Stevens and head coach Sean Elliott feeling very confident about their health this upcoming season, this will undoubtedly be a season that will never be forgotten. As we all witness this one-of-a-kind season unfold, make sure you guys are all staying safe out there. I'm Koa Ben-Israel from PRN. I'll see you guys next time.
We would like to give a big congratulations to Lottie Mayberg. Lottie Mayberg was named the Sun Belt's Runners Watch List Wednesday as the defending conference champion returns for her final cross-country season. Mayberg won the 2019 Sun Belt Cross-Country Championship and also took home the conference titles in the 3K and 5K runs at the 2020 Sun Belt Indoor Track and Field Championship. Good luck this upcoming season, Lottie. Despite the pandemic, the Falcons are continuing to pursue their upcoming season. PRN's Daniela Johnson is at the scene. Hey Daniela, how's it looking over there?
This Sunday marks the start of the Atlanta Falcons 2020 football season, where they will have home field advantage here at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium in a close game against Russell Wilson and the Seattle Seahawks. I'm Danny Johnson here at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium for PRN.
Well, that wraps up this edition of PRN Sports. Stay safe out there, guys. I'm Keelan Berrien. Back to you, Alicia.
Since the fall semester began, as we all know, Georgia State has adopted a mixture of blended and online learning. 26% of universities across the nation have adopted a hybrid model, and 27% are primarily online. Georgia State has allowed for classroom density of up to 25% capacity. Melissa Perez, our international correspondent from Columbia, gives us more on how online and blended learning have affected the students and faculty of the university.
Back to class or back at home? COVID measures have meant one of two things for Georgia State students and professors, either remote learning or blended learning. Here's an inside look.
This fall semester, students were given the option at Georgia State to register for online classes and/or have blended classes. Students face different challenges when dealing with both.
Some of the things that we learn in class are things we can't really do at home because we don't have access to it.
Being online versus being in class has a different impact on every student, and not to mention, stress can become increased.
So it's kind of like in the back of my head, I'm always like, is something due? Am I behind? Like, it's because we don't have that face-to-face.
Communicating with professors or dealing with interruptions at home are some of the challenges faced as an online student, especially when dealing with distractions at home, such as poor internet connection or noise.
Not in an ideal learning environment. So there may be a lot of distractions for them, but at the same time, they're in college. And so this is their opportunity to learn and not just to sort of phone it in, but to get something for what they're paying for.
For student Amanda Mendoza, blended learning has given her a change in perspective.
I think it's a learning experience, and it's something that we need to, take step by step.
Student and professors' mental states are of great importance during these atypical moments, especially when facing these new learning methods.
Bear in mind that these are unusual times. It's not you. Give yourself a break. Don't be too hard on yourself. Treat yourself when you can. My most important advice is stay safe.
Melissa Perez, PRN.
Patriot Day, also known as 9/11, is a day many of us will never forget. We honor all victims of the tragic attack by commemorating their lives through service and carrying on their memories. If COVID-19 slowed down your chances of studying abroad recently, well, you may be in luck. Study abroad programs at Georgia State is hosting a Demystifying Study Abroad for Freshmen event on Wednesday, September 16th. The event aims to inform new students about the various programs, scholarships and steps they can take to embark on their next journey. Thanks for tuning into PRN. Be sure to follow us on all social media platforms at GSU PRN, and we'll see you next week.